This is one of those conversations that I feel is going to be enlightening for all of us. Coming out of the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 15. It's a conversation with a title that simply says, when did good become bad and bad become good? We're living in a season, we're living in a time where everything bad is celebrated, praised, if you will. Now, I know it don't sound right, but that's what's happening. That's the culture that we're living within. You hear how we make this statement, I can do bad all by myself. You've heard that before. I can do bad all by myself. What that implies is that I don't need your baggage coming over where I already have my own personal baggage. If you're going to come over, you got to take some of this baggage off of me. But you can't bring your issues and put them on top of my issues. No, no, no. I can do bad all by myself. I don't need your situations. I got my own situations. I don't need your circumstances. No, 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 no. I don't need your weight. I don't need your problems. No, no, no. I don't need your brokenness. I don't need that. I mean, I got plenty of that on my own. So if you're not coming over to take something off of me, then I can do bad all by myself. Bad is being elevated. Bad is being worshiped. And in my Bible tells me that everything God created and made, he looked at it, he blessed it, and he said it was good. That's that word, good. We don't use that too often. Good. No, 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 no. Nobody wants to be good. No, no, I told you. When did good become bad? And bad becomes good. Everybody wants a bad boy. I mean, look at your children. Just an example. Your children. You got a child who's bad. Let's just be honest. You got a bad child. He or she just bad. And you got a good child over here. Good child. Just doing the right things. I mean, just pleasing. I mean, just good. Want to do good. But you give all your attention to this bad child. Yeah, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Well, hold up. No, 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 no. That child needs a spanking. That child needs discipline. That child needs correction. This child over here who's not getting any attention because he's a good child. This child, yeah, is isolated. Yes. This child over here, good now, but what's going to happen later? Because I didn't get any attention. I didn't get any love. Because that's what children think like. No, I love you. You're so good. No, no, no. You didn't love me. You gave this child all the attention. So that's what love is. See, now that's what love looks like to this child. That's what's happening. You need to correct this child and make sure you give this child over here some attention, some time. That's the same thing in marriage. You got a bad husband. He gets all the attention from everybody around you and you. I mean, he gets all the attention. You got a good husband. He's isolated. He's insulated. He's over here. Well, I mean, come on, he's just a good guy. He's okay. He's going to be okay. No, he's not. No, 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 no. And he see you over here worshiping someone else's husband. Well, he's doing all this and all your conversations about someone else's husband who's doing bad. And so he's over here saying, well, what? She must want a bad man. That's all she talks about. You see what I'm saying? We worship bad. When I gave my life to Jesus Christ, I took a stance. I decided that I wanted to be as good as I could be. I wanted to be the best husband, the best father, the best son, the best brother, the best uncle. I mean, I wanted to be the best that I could be, the best friend. And I'm trying to work on that to this day. Now, I knew I wasn't going to be perfect, but that's okay. But I wanted to work on being good. I was told that Jesus is the good shepherd. And so I wanted to be in his image. I wanted to walk in Jesus' image. If Jesus is a good shepherd, then I wanted to be a good follower. And I pray that's you too. But we worship bad. I'm serious. Michael Jackson penned this song, and it was called Bad. You remember that song? Bad. I'm bad. Who's bad? I'm bad. And we partied with that song, and we thought that was cool. And then Donna Summers came out with her song, Bad Girls. You remember the song? Bad Girls. Talking about sad girls. And then sad girls talking about bad girls. Don't that sound like the pot calling the kettle black? Bad girls talking about sad girls. I'm bad. Sad girls talking about bad girls? Bad. We didn't know what we were allowing to get inside of us. We were just jamming to the music, to the beat. But that stuff was getting inside. That stuff was indoctrinating us with the word bad, to where we started worshiping bad. Everything was bad around us. We wanted to be bad. My granddaughter started playing basketball, and I played basketball, and so I decided to teach her how to play. We were working out one afternoon, and I was showing her how to get down in the box and how to post up. And I said, this is what you got to do. You got to be physical. You got to be strong. You got to bust them up. My granddaughter looked at me and she says, Granddaddy, I don't want to be bad. So, whoa, hold on. Honey, I'm just saying you got to be assertive. You got to be aggressive. You got to get down here and you got to have some passion. Listen to this. My granddaughter looked at me again. And she said to me with tears in her eyes, she said, well, Granddaddy, I don't want to be bad. And I had to stop when she started crying because that touched me. And I'm saying, hold on. What happened to us? My granddaughter was teaching me that in order to play basketball, she just wanted to play the game. She didn't want to get all wrapped up into it like that, to where you got to be bad and you got to go at it. Because, see, I was used to playing in my time to where if you stepped on the court, I wanted to knock your head off. That was my court. I mean, I was ruthless. I'm a nice person off that court, but on that court, oh, I wanted your blood. And my granddaughter was sharing with me, I don't want no blood. That's a game, Granddaddy. Now, I've got life to face out here. I just want to play a game and have fun. Listen to me. Have you ever had a day where everything and everyone was good? I mean, have you ever had a day where everything just kind of worked out for you? I mean, things just seem like, wow, couldn't have been a better day than this day. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know if I've ever had a day like that, where everything went my way, where everything was pleasing, where everything felt good, smelled good, tasted good. I mean, I don't think I've had a day like that. Adam and Eve had a day like that. They were living good until Satan became jealous. And so he deceived Eve. And we know the rest of the story. The devil is always in the detail. Don't let him flip good into bad and bad into good. Go with me to the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 7 through 10. I'm going to start in the book of Revelation because I'm going to give you the omega of this conversation and then bring you to the alpha. Yeah, I'm going to flip it on you. I'm going to give you the ending before the beginning, because if I don't give it to you this way, you'll be distracted. And I don't want you distracted in this conversation, because that's what happens to us. We get so distracted. And I'm going to show you how that's what Satan has been using as one of his big weapons against us, is distraction. So in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 7 through 10, it reads like this in verse 7. And there was a war in heaven. Listen to me. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Satan didn't win. Neither was there a place found any more in heaven. He was being evicted. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent. Serpent. We're going to hear that word again. Stay with that one. Called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. So what? Which deceiveth the whole world. No. Something's wrong. No. Only Eve was deceived, Donnie. No. Hold up. This scripture says, this verse says, which deceived the whole world. No, my Bible tells me Eve. Okay, we'll get to that. Eve, I thought it was just Eve. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Go to Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. I know I'm messing with you. Just stay with me for a moment. You remember the story where Adam and Eve messed up in the garden. Eve was deceived, and Adam obeyed his wife's voice over the voice of God. And so now God is having not so much a conversation with Satan. God is speaking to Satan, and he's cursing Satan in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. And in verse 15, this is what God says to Satan. And I will put enmity. Enmity means deep-rooted hatred between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Sisters, this is so important for you to catch, because God is giving you your assignment. If you just listen carefully, listen to me. He's saying your assignment is to hate Satan. Do you hear me? And then your assignment is to teach your children to hate Satan as well. And then your assignment is to bruise his head, to teach your children to bruise his head as well. Don't teach them how to be rich and famous. You're being distracted. No, it's right here. You've already been deceived once. Come on. We all have. The Bible said the whole world is being deceived. Don't let him play with your mind. Don't let him play with your emotions. Because Satan wants your assignment. He wants your place. He wants your position. Now, we're told that this is the first time, or the first mentioning, if you will, of the good news in the Bible. Because when we're talking about the seed, we're talking about Jesus Christ and his mother Mary. That's what's really happening here. I told you that Adam called his wife named Eve because she was the mother of all living. That means that we all have Eve's DNA. So if we all have her DNA, let me share with you what's in her DNA. She was deceived. That's in her DNA. She was distracted. That's in her DNA. And she desired the forbidden. That's in her DNA. So let me say it like this. She was deceived by obeying the enemy's voice. She desires her husband's curse. Do you hear me? She desires his curse. She wants to work from the sweat of her brow. That's why we're working so much now, because she desires his curse. I know it's crazy, but that's what it's saying. And she's being distracted from her assignment. Don't that just sound like what we're doing, where we are? My granddaughter was telling me, Granddaddy, don't distract me from my assignment. This is a game. Basketball is a game. Don't distract me for what's to come. Build me for that. You don't have to build me for this. Or are you building your sons and daughters for their assignment? To hate the devil. You see, if we spend all the time right here in these 3 points, hating the devil, teaching our children to hate the devil, and teaching our children how to bruise his head, we don't have time for anything else. We don't have time to be distracted. We don't have time to be desiring someone else's husband. We don't. We don't have time to be trying to have babies out of wedlock. We don't. We don't have time to be trying to be absentee fathers. We don't. We don't have time to be deadbeat fathers. We don't. We don't have time to be unemployed. We don't. We have time now, yes, to be good, not bad. We have time now to give the devil, as we would say, a black eye. We have time to complete what God has assigned us to complete. Yeah, to have deep-rooted hatred towards him. Not your sister, not your mama, not your daddy. See, that's distraction. All that is. I know you were molested. You were raped. I know. No. Somebody hurt you. Someone broke your heart. I'm sorry. I'll pray for you. But you don't need to be distracted from your assignment. There's not going to be any excuses for being distracted. We've all been deceived. We all have this DNA of desiring something we shouldn't be going after. Satan was living what I call the good life until he tried to make bad good and good bad in heaven. And that's what he's trying to do with you right now. He's trying to sign you up to his team. He ain't got no team for you. He's smoking mirrors. But if you're not careful, you let him get inside of your head and distract you from your assignment. We all have one common enemy, and his name is Satan, Lucifer, the devil. That's who he is. So if you're not on God's team, you're losing. You don't want to lose. There's too much tied to this. It's too important for you to lose. Now we all know Mother Eve. Mother Eve. Now she was a bad girl for a moment in the garden. She went bad girl. And for all of us, the lines can become very blurry between being a good girl and a bad girl. Let me tell you why. Because this culture, this generation, we worship naughty girls. I mean, go to social media and look at all the naughty girls. Look at their followers. Look at all the naked girls. Look at all their viewers. I mean, that's what's being worshiped. It's bad. Yes, yes, that's what's being worshiped. Let me ask you a question. If your flesh can't please God, why is it pleasing you? Let me say it again. If this flesh, it doesn't please God, God says it stinks. Why is it pleasing you? See, Satan is up to his old tricks again. He's deceiving you. He's deceiving all of us. And we're worshiping bad things because Satan desires to sift all of us as wheat. So he's got to distract you from your assignment. Because if he can do that, watch this, watch this. We start loving the things we should hate, and we start hating the things we should love. What's up with that madness? That's where we are. My sisters, instead of staying on point, instead of staying focused, instead of bruising the devil's head, you start looking around you at other people and other things, and you start trying to bruise their head. Yeah, you're not messing with him, you're messing with them. You see, you're being distracted. Here you are desiring something else you shouldn't be desiring. Listen to me. While you're so busy trying to find pleasure in all this worldly stuff, guess what Satan is doing? Satan is bringing war. He's declared war against your marriage. He's declared war against your children. He's declared war against your soul. If you're not careful, you will allow Satan to get to you like he got to Eve, like he got to Cain, like he got to King Saul, like he got to Delilah. Satan is so deceitful. What he does is he makes you focus more on your differences than your assignment. He will make you focus more on the bad and less on the good. I mean, that's where he is. Your assignment, my assignment, our assignment is to attack him and not to become attached to him. Let me say it again. Our assignment is to attack him and not to become attached to him. Now, you and I, what we should be doing is we should be bruising Satan's head and his head alone, no one else's. Don't get distracted. Which means that if we can bruise his head, he's always close. But if he's always close, watch this, he can also bruise your head as well. Let me ask this question. Who are you bruising or abusing right now in your life? Who are you taking things out on right now versus taking them out on Satan? Listen to me. Listen how you speak to your kids. Listen to how you speak to your spouse. Listen to how you speak to your parents. I mean, be watchful of what you say. Measure every word carefully. Are you fighting the wrong people? That's the question. See, focus on your assignment. Hate him, not them. Yes. Bruise him, not them. And when we look at our media, oh, Jesus, our media doesn't make it any easier. I mean, the media has a business to run. It's a for-profit organization. They have stockholders that they have to please. But when you look at TV, you look at social media, I mean, all we are seeing pumped into us, indoctrinated into us is hate, crime, sex, fear, because all that stuff sells. And so they're pushing that into us like we're junkies and we need a fix. and we're sitting there high over this stuff 24/7. That's what the news is doing to us. I mean, look at the hate between sexes. Look at the hate between genders, between races, between religion. Because we're fed this stuff all day long. And so we find ourselves fighting our brothers and sisters because they're easy to get to. You know, Satan is kind of invisible. We can't really see him. And so we go after what we can see. And we're abandoning our assignment, trying to fight one another. That's what's happening. Satan is the greatest distractor, the greatest deflector of all times. I mean, come on, that's who he is. The Bible's telling us there's a bigger fight coming. And if we're not doing good, if we're not being good, watch this, watch what's going to happen. It's going to happen. Fathers are going to be fighting against sons. Mothers are going to be fighting against daughters. That's what's coming our way. And see, that's why it's so important to teach your children that your fight is with the enemy. The same enemy we all have. We don't have different enemies. No. Because what's really happening When you start fighting your sisters and your brothers and other women across the country, when you're fighting them, you're being a bully because you've divorced your assignment and you're fighting your own fight against people you shouldn't be fighting against. You become the bully in your family. You become the bully in your life. That's who you become, women. I'm telling you, God has such an assignment for you to be a sisterhood with each other. All the things that's happening to you, all the things that's happening around you, don't have to happen. If you team up and become this sisterhood of one, to do good, to be good, you ain't got to be like Janet Jackson. You ain't got to be a nasty girl. No, you don't have to be. I told you, when did we think that good becomes bad and bad could ever become good? How do we get that into us? Well, social media has promoted bad girls for a long time now. Therefore, nakedness is the new happiness. Social media has promoted bad boys for a long time. Therefore, vulgar and immorality. Yeah, it's being praised. And that's what we are. All that stuff distracts us. It deceives us. It deflects our attention from our assignment. And if you're being distracted, let me tell you what you're doing. You're supporting the devil's agenda. That's what you're doing. Have you noticed that every thought that comes into your mind now is negative? Almost every thought. Every time you watch TV, all you're looking at is, man, those are fake eyelashes she got on. That's not her booty. That's fake. That's not her breast. She got that put in. Everything is negative. You can't watch anyone walking through the mall without thinking something negative. Like, that's not her. I mean, that's our mind. You look at your wife and you think about all the stuff she's not doing. 5%. She's doing 95% things right. But all you can focus on is that 5%. Everything in your mind. I mean, your mind just thinks negative because that's what's being pumped inside of you all day long. You see a preacher preaching, he's doing a great job. You find something negative to say about him. You see celebrities doing good, living their life, and you find something negative to say about them. You look at your kids, and I'm serious, your own kids, and you got something negative to say about them. That's how we're wired now. So when I ask you the question, how does good become bad and bad becomes good? How is that possible? Well, because of us. And then some of you, watch this. When your children get in trouble, what do? What do? You run to Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. That's what you do. You run to it. Train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he won't depart from it. Watch this. Hold on. Quit reading that. Quit quoting that. How can he return to something when you ain't put nothing in him? And if you have put something in it, it's bad. It's not good. So why would you want him returning to something bad? Just admit it. You're a bad parent. You haven't poured into them. You haven't taught him who to hate. You haven't taught him who to love. No, you let him do it by himself. No, I'm going to give him this cell phone and this computer and kind of babysit him. Well, guess what? Guess what's being poured into him? Guess what he's been indoctrinated with? Hate, crime, yeah, murder. Come on, pornography. That's all being downloaded into him. And you're talking about, let me run over to Proverbs 22 and 6. Let me try to pull him out of this darkness. No. Pull yourself out of that darkness. And you both need therapy. You know, we're good at pushing our children, our sons and daughters. We're good at pushing them towards being winners and being champions and being leaders. But we're not good at pulling them. What do I mean? We're not good at pulling them in close to where they can be vulnerable, to where they can hug us and cry on our shoulder. We're not good at that. No, we're not. You see, our sons and daughters are no longer trying to be like their fathers and their mothers. They don't want to be like their parents. And you say, well, what's up with that? I mean, they've got some good parents, but I don't want to be like my dad. No. My dad, that's old timer. I don't want to be like my dad. That's good. Now, good ain't good no more. No. My dad ain't bad. I want someone who's bad. Isn't this crazy? You're supposed to be taking what I've built, stand on top of my shoulders, and use that for leverage to get to the next level. But our children want to be so different, so independent. No, Dad, I don't need what you've done. I don't need that. Let me just go do my own thing. Wow. Who does that? No one but our children. Who does that? That's kind of a rebellion, if you will. That's kind of stubbornness, if you will. And let's be for real, that's witchcraft. We've got to be careful. That's why I tell you, women, you don't have time to waste. Teach your children who the real enemy is. Teach them who this enmity is between, not between them and their parents, but between, watch this, them and the devil. When did good become bad and bad become good? Let me tell you when it happened. It happened when the world started preaching, watch this, better than the church. You heard me. It happened when the world started preaching better than the church, when they started giving more hope than we started giving hope, when they connected with them better than what we could. I'm telling you now, you better get your children. You better teach your children as early as you can who the real enemy is. And it's not you. It's not their friends. It's not that bully across the street. It's a real devil who's playing to win. There's a question that's normally asked by unbelievers, but sometimes by believers as well. Why does bad things happen to good people? You probably asked that question yourself. Why does bad things happen to good people? Now, this question was asked to the great theologian R.C. Sproul. Dr. Sproul, why does bad things happen to good people? And Dr. Sproul answered by saying, we think too highly of ourselves. Because when it really comes down to it, none of us are good. We're bad, all of us. There's only been one good. His name was Jesus Christ, who came to save us. I'm saying, wow. That's why bad things happen to good people, because there's none good but one. And he died for you and I. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that we all could be good. God gave us Jesus so that we could all have a recipe to a good marriage, the recipe to good children, the recipe to a good family, the recipe to a good relationship, the recipe to a good church, the recipe to a good job, the recipe to a good life. And that recipe is simply you being good. If you're good, you make everything around you better. And so it starts with you. Yeah. Don't be distracted from your assignment. Yeah. Stay on the devil. Get off of everybody else. Stay on the devil. Point everybody towards the devil as far as what their assignment is toward him. But then point everyone else toward Jesus Christ, what their assignment is in order to win and be victorious over the devil. Let me ask you this question. Do you want to be a bad girl? Or do you want to be a bad boy? Or do you want to be saved and safe? If you do, repeat after me Romans 10:9. Confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord, and believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, and you too shall be saved.